Hey guys, it's Tim Gillette with the Tim Gillette Show, and I'm back here with another episode of our 100 interviews in 30 days, which is this season we're doing in the series on the Tim Gillette Show. Today's guest, Wendy Fore, is someone that I knew from my Blab days, and we haven't done a show together probably since Blab. So today we're going to actually do that. We'll see what she's been up to, seeing what other people who are in Blab, where they've moved and what they've done, and what she's doing for online content creation. So it's interesting to bring it back. We're going to find out interesting things, have a good time, I'm sure. Let's bring her on here. Hey, Wendy.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here and be blabbing with you.
We're de-blabbing now? Okay, yeah.
Now we're blabbing.
I've been on a lot of calls with John Pretto. You remember John?
Oh yeah.
John Pretto and I, and he gets on a couple nighttime ones, and we have talks about the good old days and how this would be the perfect time for Blab to be, and then we talk about the benefits of what we have now. I mean, Blab was it, all right, but you couldn't broadcast. I mean, you had to trickily get it over to Facebook, and that's what all the tech guys were trying to trickily do things with it. And now they have all these tools that you basically plug and play and go.
Exactly. I mean, who wants to mess with trying to hook up OBS, restream, figure out how many places you can send it?
Yeah.
And oh my God, nightmare.
Yeah. And I know, we were talking earlier before you came on, we both have tried Be Live. And I have a lot of friends on Be Live, who they swear by it. And some of the people who get the simplicity of this, they love this, as opposed to some people who just love Be Live. And it's, there's more than that. I mean, I tried Get Vocal for a while. I actually had them put a sponsorship together for one of my events, but
oh, wow.
That didn't turn out the way we wanted. So, we've gone through a couple of them.
Yeah, we all, if you've been around the industry for a while, you've tried out everything at some point in time.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of being able to stream out to different platforms and be omnipresent, because we've got to get the word out about our businesses, and the less time and effort we have to put into that, the better.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Now, you said you tried Restream or no?
Oh yeah, I've tried Restream with OBS, and it's just too much, to try, especially if you don't have anybody helping you. If you got a producer for your show and they're doing all the changing the tickers and all that, it's okay. It's great. It works wonderfully. But if you have to do everything yourself while you're talking to your guest, and it's just too much.
Yeah, I've got this show down to a simple. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 banners that I do. I can switch to comments. My brand is all set. Everything's every time.
I love it. I'm already in love. I've been watching you doing your 100-day show. Yeah. And so I've fallen in love with it just from what I've seen you doing. But now that I'm here with you live, I'm just like, oh man, this is great.
So I was on an event this past weekend. Ross Brand. You remember Ross?
Oh my goodness! Yes, I haven't talked to Ross.
Ross is swearing by this platform. So Livestream Universe, so he's doing great things with it. He's actually going to speak at Blog and VideoCon for us next week and share about using live streaming for your business. And it's so good to connect with him. But I learned how to use this. And I ran an event for somebody else here in town, and we broadcast it into a Facebook group. So it's exclusive. The group can see it, and that's it.
Right.
And that's what we're doing with our event now. We're broadcasting it into a group. So basically you become a fan of our event. And basically you're in a group where we broadcast these live to it. And that's it. We're going to do 6 to 12 of them a year. Live stream type events with multiple speakers and stuff like that. And this is the tool we're going to use.
Yeah, I have actually been speaking at live events the last, I guess, about a year now. Mm-hmm. And started trying to put together some events, kind of like your VideoCon, but mine were more focused on just like one-on-one type stuff, smaller events that were just helping people one-on-one in the topic that we're talking about. But what I have found is people are starting to move towards, they rather do these online events.
Yeah.
Are you finding that?
Well, they're liking them now. I really feel that, you know what I mean, after we get out of this, within 6 months of getting out of this, people are really going to want to go to 10 live events again. Live events are not going to go away. Huh?
I'm ready to travel. But a lot of people are like, I don't want to spend the money, for getting on the road, the hotel, that kind of thing. That was the complaint before. I think after this, you're right. People are going to be very appreciative of anything that they can go to that's considered a business expense.
Yeah. Because it's all great to do all this stuff online, but live events are still going to be a happening thing, and I'm still going to swear by them. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to put a virtual event into place now, where we're going to do multiple speakers. And I was telling people, like my blog and video con is designed that after you attend, you learn something, you can come back as a teacher next year.
Yeah.
All right, in doing it. And that's why we're trying to help create people in the industry who become mentors. I learned how to specialize in Be Live, or I learned how to specialize in, something like, StreamYard here. And then you come back and teach a class on it the following year. And like we get people to apply. Well, the virtual ones, the same thing I'm doing here is I'm interviewing people to find out who's speakers,
right?
Who's willing to plug into the system and make the system work. You know what I mean? Because I get people who basically reach out to me and they want to speak at my events, and I've had this for 10 years. They want to speak at my events, but they don't want to follow my system. They just want to come in and siphon the crowd for what money they can get and walk away. And I'm like, those speakers have never gotten into my events. Well, now I've got ways to precaution in that, and these tools are helping me do it with virtuals now. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm finding that the virtual 3-day weekends, if you keep those really small and you're doing a hands-on type of thing, those are working really well, at least for me.
Yeah.
So if you keep your groups a little bit small and you're doing the online events, and then you can kind of do the training that way, that's going over really well. But just the straight up online events where you're just teaching, not so much. I think people rather be at the live event for those type of topics.
Yeah. And there are some people who've not figured out the idea that you need to break up you being online preaching at the camera.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'll be honest with you. I really rather have a co-host. I'd rather have somebody I'm interviewing, or I'd rather be teaching things in small segments where my group comes on with me. They're asking me questions. It's very interactive. And I don't know, it just feels better to me. And it feels like I'm really helping people learn the topic.
Yeah. Now, with us doing these events now, I'm doing, like I said, I'm still doing I'm doing my blog and video con virtual this time because I can't have it.
Yeah.
Our live one in the fall. All right. Going to those events, the thing that breaks them up is getting to meet with people and talk with people.
Yes.
Now, and actually I watched both, Video Marketing World did theirs this past weekend, as well as I'm a part of Joe Pardo's. I don't know if you know Joe up in Philadelphia. Been part of a lot of his, where basically they're using it and using the chat. I mean, that chat that goes down is the communication. And then I was part of a mastermind yesterday, and I was going to try to go back into it today, but I was just so busy. Was a guy in California is doing it on Zoom, where then they, their mastermind, then they're breaking out into breakout rooms.
Yes, that's what I'm using. I'm using the Zoom calls. We use the chat function, and then if you're using the webinar platform on Zoom, you can pull people into the room as you want them in.
Yeah.
If you use the meeting feature, everybody comes in at once. So I like to use the webinar platform, so that way I can kind of teach what I want to teach, and then people can raise their hand, and I can just bring them into the room as I want to. That seems to work really well. Yeah,
and I've been using Zoom meetings for my mastermind. We have a Wednesday night a call on Zoom every Wednesday night. And then I try to meet with a lot of people one-on-one with Zoom rather than make a phone call anymore. I hate doing phone calls now.
Yeah, I'd rather do Zoom too, because you can see people's face, you can see the reflection, how they're reacting to your questions and answering you. So I like it too. It's much better than a phone call.
Mm-hmm. So other than all the technical,
I was about to say, surprisingly, some people have not heard of Zoom, and I've actually had to get people to download Zoom before I can have a call with them.
I was I was using Zoom when we were on Blab.
Were you really?
Yeah. That's how long I've been paying monthly for Zoom since I think 2014.
Wow, I don't think I was using Zoom until probably 16, 17, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I had a whole way down to where I would not broadcast live, but I could do it using Zoom, and I had eCam going on my with the broadcast it out with my Mac.
Yeah.
So Wendy, I mean, with all the technical stuff, we could talk all day.
I know, right?
What have you guys been up to, man? What have you been up to since the Blab days?
Oh God, our whole business model has changed.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be Cash Life Mastery,
mm-hmm.
and so now we have become Go Socialized Marketing.
Mm-hmm.
My husband retired from the military, and he is bringing his leadership skills to our business. And so we decided that since it was a big change in how we were going to do business and what we were doing, we decided to rename the business as well. So we just rebranded. And so Go Socialized Marketing is about branding, content creation, and launching social media on social media, launching your strategies on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that my husband specializes in is helping people tell their story.
Okay.
And also developing the leadership skills that it takes to grow either a network marketing business or a small online business. So that is what we have been up to, and it has evolved into we were doing, I should say were, small in-person masterminds.
Mm-hmm.
We were traveling with our RV and going and speaking at events. And I ended up in Texas and did not realize that you were in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that, because I was in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
But we have managed to, last year and a half, we were traveling probably about every 3 months or so. And so now, since the COVID, we're kind of shifting gears a little bit, and we are starting to do our 3-day weekend training that we were doing online instead of in person. But we still have a couple of events scheduled for October, November this year, so we can actually help people more hands-on. That's how it's really been set up, to help people get started with their branding, creating their content that is branded, learning how to tell their story. And because it's so individual, we wanted to make it small, so everybody got the individual attention that they needed.
Yeah, no, I personally have a mastermind as well as 2 coaching programs, and everything's a step up. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You know, do you guys have a design process to get people to move from one thing to the next in your programs?
Right, exactly. After they come to the mastermind, they have the option to sign up with us for a coaching program.
Mm-hmm.
And so we give a few weeks of coaching after the mastermind anyway, just to make sure there weren't any questions or anything like that. So we do give like 3 weeks of coaching as part of the purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the option to sign up with a 1-year program with a discount once they come in to the program. And then what we do is we work with them through the year to help make sure that they're clear on their brand, because your brand is just kind of like a ever-growing process.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You start off with one thing and you end up with something completely different.
Yep. Been there.
Well. And so we feel like that year is really what's needed to get clear on what their brand is, how they're telling their story, how they're presenting their branded content. And then also, a lot of people just need to learn how to create that content. You know, some people just they've never even used Canva to create a post, So, trying to get those people to help them move forward and actually be able to keep up with the big boys and keep their brand going and what we like to say omnipresent. So, and then teaching them different ways that they can take that content and put it out on the social media. There's auto posting, there's so many ways that you can get your content out there. You've got to choose the platforms that you want to focus on. And then also doing things like video launches, things of that nature for people who are a little bit more experienced. So we do like the video launch series. We teach that.
Cool.
So,
when we talk about content creation out there, and you say you're helping create content. Are you, teaching them how to, writing strategies? Or are you just teaching them video strategies? Or podcasting strategies? Or are you teaching people, hey, build a system? What do you guys helping them?
It's basically build a system.
Okay.
So, and we're teaching them how to create that content. Like I said, a lot of people don't even know how to take Canva and their logo, create a post, and post it on Facebook. Some people are at that level to where they need to learn that. Yeah. And that's why I'm saying we're very individualized, because we realize that we're going to get business owners that have different needs. Some people need to learn the basics, and some people are middle of the road, and some people are already way up here. Mm-hmm. So based on that person's needs, we're going to help them create a strategy. And then as they learn, if they're down at the basic level, as they learn and get comfortable with that, then we're going to move them to the middle of the road strategies, which I typically would call like YouTube, helping them launch their video strategies, actually launching a blog, things of that nature to get the word out about their content.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I've started to study and watch like the Gary V version of creating content, which is basically he documents his world and uses that as his content. Are you teaching business owners something similar to that?
Very similar, because like I said, we're really focused on telling your story. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we feel like that as a brand, you are your brand. Mm-hmm. And if you can show your customers who you are as a person and your beliefs and what you stand for, then that is how you're going to build your tribe. Mm-hmm. And so the more you are out there and the more you are helping people realize who you are and being real with that audience, the faster you're going to bring people in that are actually buyers. Yeah. Because it's all about still building the know, like, and trust. And so getting over that hump of being live on video, because I don't know if you remember back in the Blab days, that was the first time that I had really started being live on video way back then, and I didn't like it. Yeah. It wasn't my thing.
Oh, I didn't want to be live either. It's, you know what I mean? I had just gotten comfortable being on radio.
Yeah, that's right. You were doing the radio show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and in the beginning, I didn't feel like comfortable getting on radio. Because I had in 2009 and 10, when I started it, I had one of my friends say, you need to get on Blog Talk Radio. And that was my first step in 2012. 2010, I was writing a blog.
Yeah.
Blab got me on video. And for me, that was like the eye opener. Like, I didn't want to be on video, but like I watched my numbers skyrocket when I started doing videos and doing them right. And that's why I was like, okay, I guess I have to go there, and I've got to get comfortable on camera. So,
yep. And, it's all about building that confidence and getting over your, excuse my French, getting over your own bullshit and just letting it go. Don't worry about it. If people don't like you, they don't like you.
Yeah.
And they're not your tribe. They're not your customers. They're not people that you're going to attract to buy from you anyway.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It took me probably a good year of people making comments, negative things. And people are kind of tough sometimes. And if you don't grow that skin to kind of get over that hump of the negative comments and things and just let it go over your head, that runs a lot of people off. And so that's where people really need a little bit of hand holding And then also to understand where to get started. It's like, okay, I've got this business and I sell X, Y, Z, but what do I tell people? So we actually help them create a content strategy of things that they can actually talk about. So when they do go live, they're not just blubbering,
Which, if you remember the blab days, there were a lot of people blubbering. And even now I'm saying, through this COVID thing that, there's a lot of people jumping on and doing these now because the tools are so frequent, so easy to use and so quick to do it. But this COVID thing is like, I'm using the term, it's going to show us who the false prophets are. There are a bunch of people out there who are jumping on camera who basically have nothing. And they're like, well, I guess everybody wants to be a millionaire. Let me sell you on how to be a millionaire. And they have $25 in their bank account trying to tell you how to be a millionaire. I'm like, dude, tell us something you've done on camera, not what you want to do. Yeah,
exactly. Or, let me see the Porsche in your driveway for 365 days of the year. And I might believe you.
Well, no, there was one guy that actually, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm still friends with him on Facebook, but he was known for his posts on how to be a millionaire. Known for him. This is all he talked about, is how to market your business and be a millionaire. And then he did this whole thing about how he got his stimulus check. I want you to just, most people can't add up those numbers. All right. Because if he's making $1 million, he doesn't qualify for the stimulus check. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unless
he's hiding his money from the government and putting things in his wife's name or his kids.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And that's a whole nother thing that, I mean, it's showing false prophets, because there's some big people out there who are declaring bankruptcy in this, who are telling you about how you were going to build your business and be big, 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 big. And they were the first to lay people off and file for bankruptcy because they don't have any money. And I'm like, you can't tell everybody you're so big. And then, all right. And it's going to show the truth. But if you can help people, plant a garden, teach them how to plant a garden. You know what I mean?
Well, I know for the last 3 years, I have been coaching for a multi-million-dollar company, and actually coaching their high-level students. And, same thing happened. Not managing what they needed to manage. And, they were like, well, we got to make cuts, And so it happens to the best of us, but I'm actually really excited about it because now I get to go back to, I've learned a lot, I'm grateful I've learned a ton. Definitely a much better coach than I used to be back when I was getting started. But now I can focus on what I want to do for me, and how I want to build, and, growing my coaching program back up. And of course, all my plans that I had set into place for these mastermind events in person now are changing, but it's just shifts. You got to be able to have your idea, have your goal, and be able to quickly shift. And I think if people see that about you, even though if you haven't made that $1 million, you're not that $1 million earner, if you have value to give, and people see that you can teach them something.
You can, yeah.
They'll sign up with you. You don't have to put that out there like that. Yeah. And that's what I don't get about people doing that.
Well, I mean, I did see this someplace, and I think it was this guy, John, I met out in San Diego, who shared this, and it finally made sense to me in the coaching and mentoring levels. And he said, there's about 5 levels of process in anything. And we've got a lot of people out there who are level 1, and they see the level 5 guy out there because he's the star and everybody's talking about him. And they're like, I want to invest in the level 5 program, which is usually a lot of money that they don't have. And in that 1 year, because they didn't have all the tools in line, they fail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As opposed to, why don't you, if you're at level 1, why don't you connect to a level 2 coach or mentor? Have that level 2 coach or mentor bring you up to level 2. In the meantime, if that coach or mentor is out there, he's actually, he's studying to be a level 3.
Yeah.
So he could actually guide you all the way up to level 5 if you'd let him, as opposed to, well, for instance, I want to use Frank Kern. Frank's the top. All right. For years, I wasn't ready to invest. And still, even now, there's levels of Frank's programs that I'm like, I'm not ready for it yet. I know that.
I joined Frank's program probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And I stayed in for about 3 months. I was like, whoa, I got to go learn some stuff before any of this is going to make sense.
Yeah.
But you're right, because I found when I started my coaching program, we were doing things like teaching the simple things like how to create a PowerPoint, because people want to give a webinar, and so we have developed from there. We realized that there's so many levels that people need that they're coming in at. We can't address them all. So we've kind of developed different levels in our coaching. And that's why we're keeping it small.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, well, you can make so much more money by doing, big group. I know this. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
I want to keep it small and more individualized, because that's when people are actually going to learn what they need to learn. They're going to actually implement what I teach them, which if you are teaching something way above somebody's head, there's no way they're going to implement. They're just going to sit there in confusion. They don't want to admit that they don't know what they don't know. And they've just wasted their money. And I never want anybody to feel like that with me.
Yeah,
and
I don't want to be in that realms where I'm getting people to waste their money. And, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know if you guys have gotten this way, but we've gotten to the point where we start asking people, what's their budget for marketing?
Yep, we do.
And like a lot of them coming in thinking they're going to, create a blog and they're going to get free SEO traffic and they're going to get it there. And I'm like, dude, you're going to need money to invest, to build this thing. The tools just to run this show, there's costs to do this.
Exactly.
And most people are like, well, I want to try to use the free tools. Great. You're going to work twice as hard. All right. And you're not going to have it easy accessible. And you're going to work against yourself. You want to learn to do it properly. Practice on a free platform and don't try to be everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Figure
out one.
Figure out one place to start. But you come into this, it has tools to make this work.
Yeah.
Don't invest in all your broadcasting tools if you can't afford a list building tool. We're getting caught up in that too.
I think some of the tools that you absolutely have to have nowadays, you've got to have something where you're going to broadcast on Facebook. If you can't afford a lovely tool like StreamYard, you can do Facebook Lives, just straight in. That's free. That's good. But to be able to interview somebody, bring a guest on your show, that kind of thing, something like this is necessary. Yeah. But you can start off with your Facebook Live. You can download those and slap them over on YouTube. Yeah. That's free. You can definitely do that. You can be building up your blog. That is free, but boy, oh boy, is that slow if you don't run some traffic to it. Yeah. You have to think about, I need an autoresponder. I need an auto poster. There's some definite things that I would say I wouldn't even think about getting into business if I couldn't afford to pay for them.
When you say auto poster to social media, you're talking things like, in the old days, I used to use TweetDeck or something like that.
Similar, but we use what's called Loomly. I love Loomly. Yeah. I have a great relationship with that company. And they are constantly listening to their users and bringing out new things all the time. They just got connected with TikTok. So that's a new platform that they've added. But you can create just about anything you want to create, link it up, have it scheduled. And so I like to sit down and typically I prefer to do about 3 months at a time, but it doesn't always work out that way, where I have at least like 3 spread out postings per day for my business page. And then it's going out to Twitter and LinkedIn. And then they have Pinterest and Instagram, and now they have TikTok, and they're working on a beta with YouTube. So I'm excited to see how that comes out. But to be able to just sit down and focus on what you're creating and how you're putting it out. And I tell people, plan it out a month in advance.
Okay.
Because what's happening is, like, for instance, if I was going to be on this show and I know 3 weeks ahead of time that I have an appointment to be on this show, well, a week ahead of time, I can start putting that in my auto poster. Hey, I'm going to be on Tim Gillette's show. You can join me here at this link, this time. And then, feed that into your content. Because typically you're planning things like this ahead of time, or any like online event, or when you're going to go live and talk about a topic, and then creating series for your auto posting. Like if you're going to do a live and you're going to do a series about a topic, being able to plan that out and have that congruent with your auto posting, and that just helps create your brand and a brand awareness so much more when people can see that congruency versus you just going live and go, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? And they're like, what is this chick talking about?
Yeah, and like I have a client, she's a Disney Imagineer, and
wow,
she built her she wanted to go into this whole idea of doing a broadcast, and she built it where she does Monday and Friday, she does a broadcast, same time on Monday and Friday. I think it's like 10 a.m. my time. But like she goes on and does this. She has got a following that is huge because of it.
Yep.
Because she was consistent.
Yep.
It's like, we used to do on Blab. I used to do I did for the longest time. I was doing every night at 7 p.m. I was trying to do a show, and before everybody's doing a show. And in the beginning, like when Blab was leaving, I think Jonathan was doing a morning show, at like 9 a.m. or something my time, maybe 10 a.m. his. I don't remember. Yeah. But like everybody had those consistent shows, and they had the consistent following because they were doing it every day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I had an afternoon show every day, and so everybody knew, what time to come and join you. But, I tell people that a lot of people are like, well, my schedule is so crazy, so I can't do it. No, let's stop with that excuse. Go live when it's convenient for you, because 90% of people will watch the replay.
Yeah.
But if there's any way possible that you can create a consistent time and day, and you let your following know that you're there time and day, they will start joining you. I mean, they know, whip out my phone, it's 11 o'clock, let's go, because Wendy's going to be on. And you get a lot more conversation. And what really helps with the live conversations and people actually being there live with you is they're sharing it out.
Yeah.
People don't typically share from a replay.
Yeah.
Watch the replays, they'll comment on the replays, but they don't typically share from a replay.
Yeah.
They get new followers is when people hit that share button and they share it with their friends, and people are like, oh, I like this chick, let me go look her up, and add you. And so that is where the consistency of the I'm going to go live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 o'clock or whatever it is for you will actually help you build your audience.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like, this one here that I'm doing, this series is just a random. I used to do my show once a week, and I decided to, break it up and do different, every season's different. So it's like, what I'm going to do after this is done, I don't know yet. Well, it will be announced at Blog and Video. Let's see if I can actually point at Blog and Video content.
Wherever it is over there.
As you tell, I don't point at my sign that often. Blog and Video content. It will be. I actually will share what we're going to do, because we're going to plan it out to where we announce it there so people can apply to get onto it. So, but I mean, I've got it down to a process on how to get this thing done. It's down to so easy that like. By the time most people get on the air, I have their website typed in to be able to do things. I have those banners done below, all done ahead of time. And how many emails did you get from me, Wendy?
5 or 6, I think.
Yeah. So you get an email telling you to book your spot. You get an email. All right. After you book your spot, now the calendar is going to send you reminder emails.
Yeah.
But then, this is created at like 10 o'clock at night, the night before this room. And then an email goes out, tomorrow's the day. All right. And it's the whole thing on how to do it. And people don't understand, you know what I mean? You put it down to a system, it flows.
Yes, it does.
All right. It's the only way I can do this. But you get into things. All right. And I don't know if you're doing this with your clients as well. Is some of my clients are coming up, they're trying to, I'm working on this. And I'm like, right now, be consistent. Do a blog post every week. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to get my clients to then do a show every week. You know what I mean? To do consistency on something to at least start building their audience if there's nothing out there. So what are you guys doing with it?
Well, actually, we are actually teaching people to just get comfortable on camera. You know, I guess it depends on the client. You know, if it's somebody that's kind of like middle of the road, they've been in this industry for a while, they've done some Facebook Lives, and that's the client that we're going to say, hey, you know, you should be doing this at least 2 to 3 times a week. You know, let's cut the excuses. But if it's the client that's like, I've never been on camera before, I hate camera, I don't want anybody to see me, you know, that's the one that you got to kind of coach into it, you know, because they've got to get comfortable and they've got to feel comfortable with the platform. And I would tell people, if they're just getting started, the easiest way to feel comfortable on camera is to do something like Tim and I are doing right now, you know, an interview with somebody, because it's much easier to talk to a person, at least for me, than it is to just talk to a camera and follow a script of what you want to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been that way.
Well, I personally feel the ones you're doing by yourself, you should script out. You should do an outline, you know what I mean? Of what you're going to do ahead of time to keep yourself on target. And, you know, in the beginning, you're going to find that like 7 minutes may be too long. Whereas I have friends who can get on a camera and they're an hour and a half later, they still got 40 people watching it live. You know, it takes time to build that though. So
yeah, it really does. And, you know, it's like you say, it's all about consistency. If you are always on your Facebook and you're always live, then people know, hey, and they'll turn on their notifications. And so if you aren't doing it at a consistent time, you'll at least get notified that that person's going live. Mm-hmm. But it is much, much better to have a set time and day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Just because people will come over time. Don't expect it initially if you're new to this. You know, if you've got a couple of people watching, you're good.
Yeah.
When you first start out. But yeah, after a while, it builds right out, and the next thing you know, you can't keep up with the chat conversations because you're trying to talk to the camera.
Yeah, you're right. So, well, you know, Wendy, it's been exciting having you guys on the show today. I know you and your husband are all part of a team out there, but tell my listeners, you know what I mean, a website where they can get a hold of you guys.
If you want to contact us, you can go to gosocialize.com, and that we actually have a consult page where you can connect with me and set up a consult, and we'll talk about your business and how I can help you.
Cool. So, and for those people who are watching, all right, and you know what I mean, what one word of advice would you give them in this time in their content creation?
Be consistent with your brand.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. So consistency is everything.
Cool. Well, you know, I always like to close my shows out, Wendy, with my little game. Have you heard about my game?
I've heard about it, but I haven't played it yet. So, I'm scared now.
You notice that I can see what the questions are, but you can't, right?
Exactly.
So basically, Wendy, I've got 8 or 9 questions here that basically come up and ask you 2 different things. Some of them are fun. Some of them are because Tim wants to know, and some are maybe related to your world. I don't know. So let's start off with this one, because I always like to find out who my geeks and what do they call them? The sci-fi people are, and that is the Star Wars or Star Trek question.
Star Trek.
Star Trek? Are you like the old, or are you like the Picard?
I like them both.
You like them both? Okay. All right. Cool. How about if you're going to the movies? Do you guys get popcorn or candy?
Honestly, both.
What kind of candy do you get?
The peppermint patties. I forget what they're called now. It's been so long since I've been to the movies, Tim.
I know. It's been a while too. Yeah, but I always love the Raisinets or the Snow Caps. Those were like as a kid.
Oh, my kids love the Snow Caps.
Yeah. So would you rather wear boots or heels?
Boots.
Boots. Okay, cool. How about glass of wine or beer?
Wine, but I don't drink anymore.
Huh. Okay. Taco or hamburger?
Hamburger.
All right. I have my first hamburger of the day. Yes.
Yeah.
For educational purposes, a lot of people are now choosing one or the other. Would you rather read the book or listen to a podcast or listen to an audiobook?
Podcast, I think.
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards
a lot more people listening on, you know what I mean, for information now. Yeah. Going on vacation, beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach. Well, you're out there in the Carolinas. How close are you to the beach?
About 3.5 hours.
Okay. It's not bad.
State.
Yeah.
So we can go to either very quickly.
Next one here can create wars if you have it.
Uh-oh.
And that is the toilet paper. Does it go over on the roll or under?
Under.
Under? We have 2 unders today. So, and my last one, boxers or briefs?
Neither. I don't wear boxers or briefs.
You see, some of these are just fun questions I got to ask. Anyway. Wendy, this has been fun. Tell everyone one more time how they can get a hold of you.
GoSocialize.com, and we actually have a tab that says connect with me there. And so you can set up a free consult, and we will go over your business and see how I can help you.
Cool.
Oh, you didn't bring up the green check mark. I'm really disappointed in you.
I actually have that in my, I totally forgot about it too. I actually have that in my speech. People ask me what I'm known for. And I'm like, I was the guy who took the green check mark. I didn't create the idea, but I took it for a ride to the point where Sean had to call me and tell me to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, actually, that video is still on my YouTube channel.
And what people don't know is I was the devious mind behind it, trying to create the T-shirts and everything else.
And literally, remember I think we see each other on Get Vocal, and I was like, hey, we should do it here. And
yeah, exactly. Hey, maybe we should do StreamYard.
No. It's called publicity stunt. I learned how to play publicity stunts because of that. And that is, I don't know if you heard about the one I did. I was doing this thing called a box of Texas Air.
Yes, I saw that one. Yep.
And I had people paying me $20 for a box of Texas Air just because they wanted to see what was on the other side, why I was doing it, and what was on the other side. So they'd pay the $20 to find out what was on the other side. Fear of missing out, baby. It works.
Yeah, exactly. It sure does.
And I totally forgot about it, and I totally forgot to put that in my questions today because it slipped my mind because I'm so
expecting that.
See, you should attend Blog and Video Con and bring it up. Anyway.
Exactly. Well, now that things are a little bit more to where we can travel a little more, we'll have to plan on that. When is Blog and Video Con?
So this year's been, the live version has been moved to November, but we're doing a virtual event on May 8th and 9th. And actually we learned to do is I'm doing an online ticket for $20 that puts you into the group for all of our 12 virtual events are going to be broadcast a year. And $10 of that goes to a local charity.
Oh, that's neat.
And you go onto the website, blogandvideocon.com. You can actually see the charity, get a link to their website and see what they're doing. They are actually right now, and I think they're just now moving into Washington, D.C. but they're here in Dallas. They're in El Paso, Texas, and Washington, D.C. And they are, through this current crisis, they are keeping shift workers employed and their salaries paid by raising money to do it. And then the workers go work at the food pantries to produce and prep food for people. So it's keeping them employed and fed.
I know this year we're going to be October and November in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for our events.
Yeah.
So those months we've already got time taken off for, but maybe the following event, because you do that twice a year, don't you?
Blog and VideoCon will only be a once a year event. We have another one that'll be introduced this year for 2021. May of 2021 is going to be our new conference that we're putting out with our new trademark.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I got the trademark and I just about have it all finalized out. It's called Simple Easy Marketing.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm. So
I like that.
Yeah. And that's what's going to be new. It's going to be the new Simple Easy Marketing Summit. And we've got a whole line of stuff in that: Simple Easy Funnels, Simple Easy Branding, Simple Easy Blogging, Simple Easy Videos. Yeah. It's all designed around breaking things down into simple tasks. And actually, this whole thing up here is the book written out. I got it all on the whiteboard. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. That's nice. I like that.
Yep. So that's what we're up to. But we have May 8th and 9th, but we have an online one. So come join us online. So, and after you've attended Blog VideoCon, so the people, your audience who might watch this is the people who speak at Blog and VideoCon are people who've been there before. Right. So we bring in 2 featured speakers only, and all of our guest speakers are people who've attended it before and come back and teaching something that they learned. Right. So it's we don't bring in the 70,000 or have 70 what do they call them, like gurus that are at every video conference out there. The same 70 people go from conference to conference speaker. We don't do that. So
yeah, I like learning from new people.
Yeah. So I mean that's it. We designed it, you know what I mean? The people who did come back and teach.
Yep. Exactly.
That's the format.
That's awesome.
But yeah, most people are like, well, I want to speak at it. Well, first you have to attend it. So, yeah. Anyway, well, thanks, Wendy, so much for coming in today. All right. To you, the guests. All right. Thank you guys for coming and watching today. Check out Wendy at getsocialized.com. And be sure to subscribe to our channels, both YouTube, over on Anchor FM, and up on Apple Podcasts. We'll be back real soon with another episode. I'm Tim Gillette with The Tim Gillette Show. Bye now.
Bye, y'all.